That was the first segment, but now we got to go to the wrestling, Brian. And they brought out the heavy hitters, the big guns. A 6-man tag team match with Dick the Boozer and the Buckaroos against Samoa Joe, Powerhouse Hobbs, and Swerve Strickland. And even they're in Albuquerque in like a theater of some kind. And it's on a street that there wasn't a fucking car going past. There wasn't a bystander. They've got the Boozer and Marina Schaefer out on an empty street, and then they walk in the door through the empty outer building. And Moxley is just blathering nonsense while he's doing that and punched himself in the fucking chin. And then he comes through the building. So they waste 5 minutes on this.
Well, the 10 people who are buying concessions just stand there and watch.
Yes, that's the thing is you pass more people in my front yard than he did from the time he went out on the street. And it looks like they're nowhere. Why did they do that? So then here came the Cucamonga kids to no reaction as usual. And they start this match, and from the bell, it goes 20 more minutes after they've done these entrances. And you know the drill. Everybody did a bunch of moves. And finally, Swerve pinned one of the Hardley boys. So that took 20 minutes to get to that point. Then here comes Wheeler Useless and Claudio, and the heels beat up the babyface. Marina Schaefer beat up Nana. God damn it. They've done nothing. They never did anything to establish Nana as a manager that had any competence whatsoever. And now even the women just beat him up. He can't do anything. Nana is a black man from fucking New York. Certainly he could be even for 30 seconds with Marina Schaefer, even if she's a goddamn judo expert. One would think.
He's a former wrestler.
Well, being a wrestler don't mean you're tough anymore, but still he's from New York, for heaven's sake.
From
you got
Queens.
From Queens, see? He used to live next door to Eddie Murphy. It's a bad neighborhood. You got to be able to take care of yourself. Anyway, then Shapoopy came in with the phoniest shit of the night. Did you see this?
I did. I watched this whole thing. I was entranced by it. Yeah.
When everything he did was just like a parody of what wrestling is. It was so see-through. And then Schaefer came in and nutted him. So then they played music. And Willow came running down to the ring as fast as Willow was running. By the time she got to the ring, both her eyes were black. And she started doing running spots with Marina Schaefer. And she threw a bunch of fake blows of various kinds. And then more music played. And here came Kenny. And he got in the ring and did a few moves, and then he made a face, and then he pointed, and then he skipped, and then he hit the ropes, and he hit one of the Buckaroos with a fake knee lift. And then he pointed again. And Swerve pulled out a table, and Kenny tried to put one of the Bucks through it, and Claudio saved him. And the heels were bailing out, and Joe cut a promo on him and got a big pop when he said fuck, and it got bleeped. And so from entrances through all this chaos at the end, it was 30 minutes. And then I don't want to skip ahead and ruin the chronology, but Joe's promo was a sane man would wait till next weekend, but I'm not a sane man. So the threat was a very veiled, almost disguised threat was that they're going to kick the shit out of him some more later on tonight. But they waited not only until after the main event, which we'll get to, and I'm pretty sure drove away a significant portion of the viewing audience, but into the overrun. Before then, all the guys in this garbage match came back, got in another fight, Now with what's the name of the guy that keeps coming out now and interfering?
Oh, Gabe Kidd.
Gabe Kidd, who looks like Josh Alexander to me. Are they separated from birth? Twin brothers
there's a
from
lot of
another
guys
mother?
with that look right now. At least Josh Alexander has the headgear to separate himself.
Well, the point is, these fucking guys they got in another fight. They broke a bunch of furniture again. They fought all over the place. They put multiple people through tables to promote, allegedly, this garbage match that they're going to have with 5 or 6 guys on each side where they do all this shit and they fight in the arena. They've already done the match. But with all of this, I've said before, you fucking blithering idiots. You shoot the angle fighting in the arena, you have the match in the ring. The angle is we get out of control and we fight all over the place for 2 minutes or 3 minutes or whatever, just enough to tease people and get them up. And then you book the match and you have most of that in the fucking ring. But the problem is these guys can't have a match in the ring. So they've done 5 or 10 minutes here all over the arena with furniture and chairs and jumping and diving and pointing and gesticulating and farting about. And then they're going to come back at the pay-per-view that they want people to pay for, and they're going to do all this same shit for 2 or 3 times as long. What the...
With music.
With music. And what the fuck is their deal? You've just given them the shit that they're supposed to pay for free. The baby faces would come up once, then the heels are up, and then the baby faces are up, and blah, blah, blah. But all the furniture gets broken, and you ain't going to do anything different.
Yeah, it's one thing to go off the air Mid-South Wrestling, or more appropriately, UWF style, where everyone who's going to be in that match is brawling, and you go off the air, you get like 30 seconds of it. This went on and on and on and on. This didn't stop.
And on.
This wouldn't end. And it became comical because of that.
And that's the audience that they're shooting for, is the people who want to laugh at phony wrestling, because elsewise they wouldn't be doing this. But as we've seen, the audience that wants to laugh at phony wrestling is limited. And it gets comical because it's so ridiculous, because they're out there doing all the shit that they think is fun, and that the little indie bubble that they live in is, they like that kind of thing. But, it's just meaningless for drawing money or putting a program together where you're advancing personalities and making stars. It's just chaos with children. Now with children. Because anytime the Lollipop Guild is in it, even with guys like Samoa Joe and Hobbs, if you've got the bucks in there, it's comedy to begin with. So... we've been talking about what kind of money matches can they put together. They have none, because they concentrate on doing horse shit like this to appease these indie-minded nitwits that think that they're special, instead of making stars and putting matches together that'll draw money on a widespread basis. And they'll just gimmick it up.
But still, someone will get hurt. Every time, someone will get hurt. Yes.
And there's always the chance of that also. What do the kids call it, Brian? Are they tone deaf? They're tone deaf. They can't hear the tone of the room. They don't know that their shit is passé and overdone and blasé and boring. Is it tone deaf? Is that the word?
Tone loc.
I wonder if the MD hearing aids will help people that are tone deaf.
I didn't know where you were going. Now it makes perfect sense.
It makes perfect sense now, doesn't it?
Well, I don't know about the tone deaf, but yes.
Well, it depends on what kind of tones you're deaf to. Or if you're one of the deaf tones. Folks, did you know that MD Hearing recently cut their price in half, despite all of this inflation craziness going on in the world, because they have figured out a way to have finer quality apparatuses or apparati at lower prices, and they're making it up in volume. Because gas is expensive, food's expensive, Everything's expensive. If you go try to get a hearing aid from a clinic or a hospital or some type of, one of these pop-up things that people operate out of the trunk of their cars on the corner, many times you will go up to a Plymouth or a Chrysler with a guy selling hearing aids out of the back of that.
Not many times.
And you'll get a good deal, but you will find out that they don't work as well or last as long as the folks at MD Hearing.
A Plymouth or a Chrysler. What year is this example taking place? But
this was back in the 70s. Old Grandpa John, he couldn't hear toward the end. And he got both the Chrysler and the Plymouth brand hearing aids, and they didn't help him at all. But folks, MD Hearing.
Yes, MD Hearing. Let's talk about them. They are
Yes. Great. They make high quality, easy to use, rechargeable hearing aids with exceptional sound quality that are personalized to your hearing profile. And they fit inside your ear. So nobody's even going to know it's there. We've mentioned this before. If they get close enough that they can see this hearing aid, you're allowed to punch them because they're invading your space.
You're not allowed to punch it. You have no authority to say that anyway, but you're not allowed
they'd have to be sitting on your shoulder. I mean, no court of law in the land would convict you if somebody gets close enough to you to get a good look at this MD hearing aid in your ear, at least an elbow in the ribs. Plus, MD Hearing has just launched the Neo XS, MD Hearing's smallest hearing aid ever. Never take it out, because if you take it out, it's so small, you'll never find it again.
Well, no, let's not say never take it out. Take it out when it's time to take it out.
No, because you always want to hear, what if you're sleeping in the middle of the night and somebody says, fire? If you ain't got your hearing aid in, you're going to be a crispy critter because you won't hear that.
Well, let's not say things that people are not supposed to do. I don't know if they're supposed to sleep.
Well, they're not supposed to sleep through a fire in a crowded theater.
Crowded theater?
Well, you're not supposed to yell fire in a crowded theater. You're not supposed to sleep through one either. MD Hearing is just as good as premium quality hearing aids that you see about all the time. $297 for a pair of hearing aids from MD Hearing. It's just crazy. That's and Edward S., you know him. He's been in the news. That's why he's not allowed to reveal his last name. He's in the Federal Witness Protection Program. He calls MD Hearing the best hearing aid I've used at any price. Edward was recently rescued from a desert island, and he hadn't heard anything for 40 years. But MD Hearing was founded by an ENT surgeon who saw how many of his patients needed hearing aids but couldn't afford them. Every time he'd go out in his waiting room there, he'd say, next, and nobody would stand up. He made it his mission. Stop it. You're laughing about serious.
It's very
serious. He made it his mission to develop a quality hearing aid that anyone could afford. And now when he goes out in his office and he says, next, they all stand up and jump him. MD Hearing sold.
They have sold to others, and they can sell to you for a great price.
Yes, 2 million times they've sold hearing aids to people. I wonder if it's different people.
Different people. There are multiple people. What am I defending here right now? I'm talking about great hearing aids for a great price, a new price just for you, a great deal from MD Hearing.
Yes, that's what it is. They offer a 45-day risk-free trial, 100% money-back guarantee. And when people are yelling at you, now you'll be able to hear it unless you turn them off. And that's your choice. Get the high-quality, affordable hearing aids you deserve with MD Hearing. Go to Shop MD Hearing, shopmdhearing.com, and use the promo code JCE to get a pair of hearing aids for just $297. That's $149 an ear, not even. So, Brian, if somebody came up to you and said, hey, if you don't give me $150, I'm going to make you deaf in one ear, you'd do it, wouldn't you?
Well, let's not use this kind of example, this kind of thuggery. Let's talk about the people at home who need a little boost, need to be able to hear a little better. A lot of us have hearing loss due to going to concerts and standing near giant amplifiers. MD Hearing, a great resource for you.
Or Pyro in TNA's little closet they used to shoot in. And they got a free extra charging case, which is $100 value, is going to come along with the ride for that $297. And again, $150 an ear. What would be the price on your left or right nut? And which are you more fond of, your nuts or your ears?
Again, what?
And again, if you want to spend $600, you can take care of your ears and your nuts.
Listen, let's get to
your
the
nuts if you don't take care of your hearing.
Let's get to the nuts and bolts, and that is a great deal for the listeners who need a little help with their hearing. It's one of the senses.
Yes, you're nuts. You're nuts if you don't go to shopmdhearing.com and use the promo code JCE to get a pair of hearing aids and a free extra charging case, $100 value for just $297. It's like a sore dick and a busted drum. You can't beat it.
Your senses will be working overtime. MD Hearing. One more time, Jim, what's that? Special code.
Well, now, if you get your senses to work overtime, they're going to want more money. But go to shopmdhearing.com and use the promo code JCE. That's how you're going to get into all this stuff here. But now I'm not sure about the overtime.